Howdy, y'all. I'm Justin.
And I'm Kim.
Welcome to Cowboys Like Us, the podcast where we talk about Taylor Swift and her music. Yeehaw. Hello, and welcome back to Cowboys Like Us, the only podcast that knows the truth behind the legend of the Alabama leprechaun. Are you familiar with this, Madeline?
It was a piece of local Mobile news.
Yes, it was.
Nice.
Of leprechaun sighting in Crichton. I think maybe it was. But yeah.
Wasn't it a really bad drawing of a leprechaun?
Amateur sketch. That's one of the memes that endures. Where the gold at? Who all see the leprechaun say yeah? There's a lot of
amazing.
If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube right now and type in Alabama leprechaun. You will be glad that you did. But we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about Last Kiss from Speak Now. And of course, Speak Now, Taylor's version. Joining me once again is Madeline, the pod gremlin.
Hello.
Kimberly is still on maternity leave. In a way, she's on humanity leave. Am I right? Poll results. I've got them. Y'all voted. And you gave We Are Never Getting Back Together a 7.
I'm happy. It's higher than I expected.
Yeah, I think it tied with Red, which to me, I think Red is slightly better. So I could quibble with it, but I'm okay with it as a 7. So, do you have any pod business to chat about?
No, I don't have any pod business. Wait, do I? I felt like I had a pod business for maybe not.
Well, here's some pod business for you and I that we could have talked about off mic, but we'll do it live.
Oh, God.
I am open to guest appearing on anyone's pod about anything, basically. So get on the social medias and put that out to the world. If you hear this, anyone out there, and you have a podcast and you want a guest, I'll do it. So hit me up on social medias.
Oh, hell yeah. I need you to sound clip that for me.
I will try. All right. Well, then, if you don't have anything else, we will just jump into the news. News from around the Taylorverse. First up, the Super Bowl. It happened. Taylor was there. Taylor and her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, both arrived wearing black, which made Madeline and Kimberly both excited, thinking that Rep TV was confirmed. It's not as of now. But it's coming. It's coming. We know that. Mr. Andy Reid, in an interview before the game, said that he likes Taylor Swift, but doesn't know anything about her songs. It's not his genre.
What a good guy, though. He's very supportive. Like, supportive uncle vibe.
Yep, he's a cool guy. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. It was a very interesting and exciting game. Went to overtime.
Stressful.
It was stressful, yeah. Pod Baby George was very stressed, but he got through.
He was dressed like a football for good luck. It was a whole thing.
He was real cute. Travis caught 9 passes on the night for 93 yards. He didn't score, but what else is new? Hey-o. Just kidding, probably. Taylor was in a box, like she usually is, with a lot of other famous people, including Blake Lively, Ice Spice, Jason Kelce, Lana Del Rey, Kaylee Sperry, and Miles Teller. Shaquille O'Neal and Mr. Paul McCartney both stopped by briefly to say hello as well.
Yeah, Shaq said before the game that somebody tell Taylor that all he wants to do is shake her hand. He needs to shake the hand of greatness. And then I liked the footage of when Paul McCartney went into the box because Taylor's just walking around introducing him like they're old pals. Lana being in the box is interesting because she wasn't originally.
Yeah,
she's also not a Chiefs. She's not a Chiefs fan either. She was there at the game supporting the 49ers. Walked up from the outside of the box, talked to Taylor, and Taylor hung out of the side of the box and was talking to her and holding her hands and stuff. And then within 15 minutes, Lana was in the box.
Yeah, and when the celebration happened, when the Chiefs won, Lana was basically dogpiled under there. Everybody else was excited and jumping around, and she kind of just fell. This Super Bowl in particular was the most watched broadcast in U.S. television history since the 1969 moon landing.
That's crazy, and I love it. And I love that to put that in perspective, it's not just on sheer numbers of people that watched it. That is like percentage of the population whose eyes were glued to the television.
Yeah, tell us about that.
That's crazy. So tons of people, obviously the most percentage of Americans watched the Super Bowl than has watched anything else on TV since the moon landing. Women viewers represented 47% of the total audience, an all-time high. Female viewership in the youths, ages 12 to 17, that demographic went up 11% just on its own. Ladies of the ages 18 to 24, so those young adults, went up a whopping 24%. That's a big Taylor impact for sure. There was a Super Bowl commercial that made absolutely everyone cry regarding this, regarding having ladies watching football this year because of Taylor. And the Super Bowl commercial about dads and daughters bonding over football. There were tears shed. Kim lost it. I lost it. It was a whole thing. Magical.
Yeah. So I am not a supporter of the whole thing is a PR op by the NFL. But if it was, then they really
did a good job.
Yep, they got it in a big way. So
they did a good job.
Yep, somebody did their homework. After the game, there was the trophy presentation, speeches from Coach Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Mr. Travis Kelce. Mostly, Travis led the crowd through a spirited chorus of Elvis's Viva Las Vegas, and it was wildly uncomfortable.
It was not good. His nickname is the Yeti. It was like a Yeti singing Viva Las Vegas. The camera pans over to Taylor. Taylor visibly gets the ick on camera. Everyone stitches it with themselves also getting the ick over him yelling and saying, Taylor, tell that man he's never allowed to touch a microphone again.
Yeah, I definitely got the ick sitting on my couch at home.
It wasn't cute, Travis.
It wasn't. And he hadn't been drinking. So, come on.
No, he was just really excited and acting like a grizzly bear or a Yeti.
The emotions were running high. We'll talk about that a little bit more later.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
After that, when Travis left the stage, he found Taylor, and they kissed and hugged a bunch on the field. It's real cute. Taylor tried to use her hand to shield her mouth this time so that people couldn't read her lips. However, one mic managed to pick their conversation up, so we have it. Travis said, "Thank you for coming, baby." And Taylor said, "Oh, I cannot believe that. I can't believe you. I can't believe you. How did you do that?" Travis then said, "Thank you for making it halfway across the world. You're the best, baby. The absolute best. Was it electric?" And Taylor said, "It was unbelievable."
Yeah, it was so cute. He goes on to say, like a second later, as he's like kind of spinning her in the crowd, kind of away from the camera, he says, "How do you not have jet lag right now?" And Taylor replies, "Jet lag is a choice," which is amazing and iconic and makes me personally worry for her poor circadian rhythm. Girlie needs some sleep. Girlie's so tired.
Yep, Taylor Swift is a time lord. She controls time.
Confirmed. Jet lag is a choice, which now people are using as a saying completely unrelated to crossing timelines. People are just saying jet lag is a choice as it is what it is.
Indeed. After the celebration at the stadium concluded, the team and their wives and girlfriends, etc., went out to an after party. Taylor and Travis danced and sang along to Love Story and You Belong With Me together.
It was adorable. There's footage of the I'll be the prince and you'll be the princess. It's the cutest thing you've ever seen. And Taylor's little bodyguard is just like bouncing along with them at the after party. Well, technically the way Travis tells it on the podcast, it sounds like they went to like a pregame after party and then the after party was like friends and family. And at the pregame after party, Jason found a Chiefs colors luchador mask on a dance floor. And then he proceeded to wear it all night long. When asked about it on the podcast, his wife, Kylie, said that she was not surprised at all by his commitment to the bit. Travis really wanted him to like go rinse it off in the bathroom at least, because that's gross. But Jason said nah and just put that sucker on. Both men are happy that Jason did not get pink eye.
Yeah, for sure. I saw...
Super gross.
The luchador mask. I saw today the family who had the mask have asked for it back because apparently it's lucky to them. It's their lucky.
Oh no! Then why did they lose it? No, that's amazing. They need to get their lucky. Jason, make that hat. If you're listening to this podcast, get their mask back.
Yep. Hopefully that works out.
It was cool. He was up there like DJing with Marshmello. It was crazy. What a time. But during that, Taylor posted her first personal, non-work related social media content in years. She hasn't posted things on her social media like this that are not work related since the rep era, the original rep era, which is super cool. Like, that's when she stopped. That's when she blacked out all of her social medias and she wasn't on Tumblr all the time. Things changed. So anyway, she posted a TikTok of the after party in which she says on the screen, "It's a friends and family party," they said. "Invite your parents," they said, while the camera pans and she's in a full-on club atmosphere, lights going crazy. Drunk Travis is being goofy, and she turns to her parents, politely sitting on a club couch, all smiles in their cheeks. It was amazing. The caption read, "Accidentally going clubbing with your parents is something everyone should try at least once in their life." It's freaking awesome. The TikTok is great. It actually got taken down for a minute because of TikTok copyright issues that they're having with music right now, but it ended up getting put back up, and everybody had stitched it and downloaded it already, which is funny because TikTok needs to get their shit together so that they can have artist music again. So, in reference to this TikTok, the OG Swifties, the people that have been here since the beginning, are elated for Taylor. She used to be so active and personal on social media, and people loved her for it. They felt really close to her. She felt like a best friend to them. But since the original rep era, and she blacked out her social medias, it's been strictly business. She never posts about any of the people that she's with. She never posts about her own life. When she posts about her cat, she ties it to her music. Like, she's always tied to something that she's doing. On the other hand, people who don't believe that the relationship is real and think that it's a PR relationship are using this TikTok as evidence and saying, obviously, Travis is just business if she's posting about him. Whatever. That's a silly conspiracy. Y'all can keep your conspiracies. Just don't be mean to yourself or others. It's wild. Super interesting that she posted.
Yeah, he's social media official now, I guess.
She locked it down. They're Facebook official. They're TikTok official.
Indeed. And now we need to talk about something that happened during the game. I was going to come out really hot on it. My original title for this news article was "Pearl Clutching Nerds Don't Know Ball."
I am Pearl Clutching Nerd, and I do know ball.
Yeah. So at one point early in the game, first half, Travis was pulled from the game on a third down, and he wanted to be in the game, but was taken out. So he ran up to Coach Andy Reid, bumping into him a little bit, almost knocking him over, and hollering in his ear about something. Presumably, "Put me in, coach. You know, don't take me out. I'm the man. I'll get it done.
I can carry this game on my back."
That's right. Coach Reid did not react in real time. He was about his business. And
he basically shrugged him off and righted himself. Like, he got back on his feet and just, like, rolled his shoulder.
Yep. And after the game, in the interview, he was not concerned about it. Just said, yeah, it happened. And Travis was emotional, wanted to be in the game, and life goes on. A lot of people, though, on the internet have expressed some concern over it. They think it's a red flag and that Travis may domestically abuse Taylor if he responds to anger in such a way as that. Is it a indicator of what he would do in their personal relationship? For me, as a former sports player, I don't think so. It's a different thing, you know. Off the field, everybody who knows me would say, "Oh, Justin's cool, you know, he's quiet, he's easygoing." But on the field, you know, I played soccer all through school. I used to scream at people. I'd get physical with people whenever the ref wasn't looking, you know. Hit me, pull jerseys, whatever you got to do. That's just what being competitive is. You got to get into that mindset, competitive, fire yourself up. I'm a gladiator. I'm out here. I'm going to take the whole thing. And then after the game, you know, it's all good. Good game. Sorry I said that I was going to have sex with your dead mother. I didn't mean that. See why that was upsetting. My bad. And, you know, Travis is not a high school player. He's an NFL player. So he's one of the most competitive human beings on earth. He had to be to get to where he is. He wants to be out there, be doing his thing. And he thinks he can help the team. He was angry. I think he accidentally bumped into Andy Reid. I don't think it was an intentional thing. And Andy Reid,
the way he talks about it on the podcast, he was like, "I bumped him." Like, yeah, I bumped. I'll get to what they said on the podcast, but Travis and Jason have already addressed it.
Well, Andy Reid is a large man. He was a former offensive tackle.
Yeah, he is.
He's a big boy. He's fine.
He's an old man, though. He's an old walrus man.
He is old, but everyone's fine. You know, no lasting harm was done. And I personally do not believe it is indicative of how Travis comports himself in a romantic relationship necessarily.
See, I agree with Justin on there is a certain level of competitiveness in sports and a certain level of energy in sports and emotions that are like there's a wider range of emotions that are acceptable in sports than are acceptable in daily life. Where I disagree with Justin is that I do find the discussion about domestic abuse in NFL players and the discussion that Justin hadn't brought up yet, but that's going around about chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is, people say CTE because encephalopathy is a big word to say, but it's brain damage, about chronic brain damage with NFL players. I'm going to give this a caveat before we start. I am not a doctor. I just like to research a whole lot of things and I like to learn things all the time. I'm not saying that Travis has or is definitely going to get or be any of these people. I just think this is a very real thing that people need to know about, and that Travis and Jason and all our other favorite NFL players put themselves at risk for. I laughed at Justin earlier. I said, I know ball. I do. And I think ball is ultimately the problem. Football runs a major risk of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the CTE, as do other high impact sports like hockey, boxing, soccer, justing, and even race car driving are the big ones that scientists are asking those professionals to donate their brains to science so that we can learn more about CTE. So CTE results mainly from repeated minor and or major concussions. It happens in a lot of impact sports. The CTE can lead to unpredictable behaviors and emotions, including outbursts of anger and physical violence and sewer slide ideation to get that past the old censor. Now, this is all for your information. I'm not diagnosing any professionals. I just think CTE is super interesting and definitely a thing. Domestic violence is also highly reported among professions like professional football and being a police officer. That's not to say that all professional football players beat their wives and girlfriends, and not to say that all cops beat their wives and girlfriends, but a lot of them do. So it's interesting to see that level of social awareness coming from Travis Kelce yelling at his football coach. All that being said, Taylor aside, I see professionals in their realm blow up and they get angry like that in a, maybe a unprofessional way on the TV. And I go, yeah, that prefrontal cortex, that's deteriorating. But that's just a poor taste half joke on my part. Like I mentioned a minute ago, New Heights had a new episode this week and the boys talk about it. They talk about how Travis was only able to get that heated with Andy because they are so close and so connected and they have that strong relationship. So the argument goes, two reasons. If Travis and Taylor become so close and so connected like Travis and Andy, when inevitably life has its downs, will Travis explode on her? Will she put up with it? I personally don't like anger. Anger is a huge red flag for me. I have anger-related trauma. I freeze up in the face of it. If later in life this romance goes downhill and they say it's anger or problems, I won't be surprised. We'll be able to call back to this moment. But that is all not a diagnosis. That's not to say that that'll happen. Just lots of interesting things, lots of context, lots of good dialogue going on the internet.
Yes, that's true. And for the record, I just want to second Madeline in that CTE is absolutely a real thing, and it is a very serious problem that it is still sort of not fully understood.
Have you seen the helmets that the NFL is using that have the little chips and sensors in them so that they can see what the impact is of all of these little tackles and impacts? Part of the CTE tracking and trying to figure out, whether things will be problems. Those helmets are the ones that made us have the rule that if a helmet comes off, they have to be out of the play or they have to be out for a play.
Yeah, the NFL tried for years to downplay and deny, but finally they are taking it seriously and trying. So that's encouraging, but there's a long way to go yet. I think it's quite possible Travis could one day be diagnosed with CTE.
But we surely hope not.
Yeah, for sure. But even if he is, I would not necessarily agree that the bump heard around the world was symptomatic of it. I think it is just an unrelated hit of emotions that got the better.
I just think, I think he's just being an anger boy. There's a lot going on, man. That's a freaking Super Bowl.
It's true. You work your whole life to get there and you want to be out there doing your thing.
Yeah, and they won. And they got their victory parade. They went back to Kansas City and had a parade. And Travis got very, very drunk this time. He was the party animal Yeti at it again. He funneled a beer off of the trophy with the assistance of Mama Kelce. There is footage. It was iconic. He also drunkenly mumble yelled the lyrics to friends in low places. As I said before, Taylor needs to tell this man to never get on a microphone ever again. It's crazy.
Yeah, this one arguably was even worse, just because it was less, saying is not quite the right word, but
he was inebriated. He was like falling over.
He was almost doing spoken word up there. It was upsetting.
It needs to get him.
Yep. His teammates were drunk as well, having a good time. One guy had his shirt off and his shoes off, and he was running down the street with a bottle of Hennessy. Another one got on the mic about how Big Red, T Swift, and the boys went in and we got it, you know.
Big Red, T Swift, and the boys.
Yeah, that should be his shirt, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked that he shouted her out in that. Taylor herself was not at the parade, as she was on her way to Australia. According to a Kansas City official, before the parade, they had said they were concerned about security if she had attended the parade, and they may have been very justified in that fear.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure many of our listeners have heard, but there was an active shooting situation at the end of the parade in Kansas City. Some fans actually tackled the shooters, but it was only after 22 people were shot and injured. The Kansas City police chief, Stacey Graves, said half of the people injured in the shooting at the end of the Super Bowl victory rally are under the age of 16. The victims range in age from 8 to 47 years old, and the one person who has died from the shooting was 43 years old. I actually saw today that they released the name, and she's a mother of 2. So that's sad stuff. There are 3 persons in custody. 2 of those persons are juveniles, which is insane. And our hearts absolutely go out to the victims and their families and the entire Chiefs Kingdom.
Yes, for sure. Based on what the police have said thus far, it does not appear to have been a incident of terrorism or anything like that. It was a personal
stupid teenagers with guns.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it took a woman's life, which is horrible. Taylor donated $100,000 to her family to help with whatever they need. So that was nice, but certainly can't undo the harm that was done. So,
but yeah, I'm definitely in a different way, glad that Taylor wasn't there. Security would have been absolutely insane. She had this.
Yes. None of the Chiefs, players, coaches, or anyone was harmed. Also.
Yeah, it was at the end of the parade. Their part of the parade, the active parade itself, was not at that part of the crowd at that time from the footage that I've seen. So just a crowd altercation, but a sad one nonetheless.
Speaking of the horrifying state of America today, conspiracy that Taylor would endorse Joe Biden at the Super Bowl proved to be completely unfounded. Who could have seen it coming?
Did you see, side note, also not what this podcast about, Joe Biden tweeted after the game a picture of him with demon red eyes, like glowing demon red eyes, that said, just like we scripted it at the Chiefs.
That's pretty good.
It's awful. He's the sitting president of the United States. That's not okay.
I mean, it wasn't him, right? It was some
it was an intern offside.
Yeah, that guy got fired super hard.
So bad.
Worth it, though. Yeah, before the game, Donald Trump posted on Nazi Twitter, which somehow is not actual Twitter, even though it's pretty close. There's no way
on his own social media platform. It's like Truth something.
Yeah, something like that. He said, "There's no way she could endorse crooked Joe Biden, the worst and most corrupt president in the history of our country, and be disloyal to the man who made her so much money." And the fascism really jumped out for me, dog. Like, it's not how it works. You're not the emperor of the United States. Taylor doesn't owe you personal loyalty, right? I'm not a political science genius, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to be loyal to the country and the Constitution and all that stuff, but not an individual politician.
I actually was a political science major, and that's not how democracy works, bro. Also, you know what else is not how democracy works? He is, in this quote that he tweeted out on his not Twitter, he's referencing a bill that he signed about music, or about the music industry. I cannot remember what it is off the top of my head, but bills are not written by the president.
Right.
He has so little to do with that. He gets to write his name on it with 10 different pens and hand the 10 pens out to different people and smile and take a picture. That's what he gets to do about it. But at this not tweet, I fucking cackled. It's hilarious. This little man posted his own social media hate speech platform. And all for naught. What did he get out of it? Nothing. He was in an echo chamber that he just yelled. I've been making this joke about a lot of people recently, but it's giving smallest man who ever lived.
That's true. Absolutely. He does have the smallest hands of anyone who's ever lived. We know that. So
if, I don't know if we said this on pod before or if this was an off pod or off mic conversation, but if the smallest man who ever lived was about Donald Trump, I would lose my mind.
Yep, that would be good. That would be a good
It would be hilarious. That would be amazing. Whatever.
I kind of hope it's about somebody that, like, you would never suspect in 1,000 years. Like,
it's Napoleon Bonaparte, and she's talking about how he wasn't actually that short. He was average for the time.
Yeah, just dragging Napoleon. That would be fun. You know what else is fun? The Eras Tour, I assume.
Yeah.
I'll never know because I don't get to go.
Because we failed to get tickets twice.
Yep. Taylor is in Australia. She played her biggest show of her career in Melbourne this week. Played to a crowd of 96,000 at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. And she said on X, "This is the biggest show that we have done on this tour, or any tour I have ever done. That's the version you get of me tonight, the version that's completely starstruck by the fact that so many of you wanted to hang out with us on a Friday night in Melbourne."
Yeah, they broke records. It's the most attended concert performed by a lady ever, and it broke it by like 12,000 or something like that. It was a bunch. This concert, we're recording this on 2/16, on February 16th. This concert, we expected this one to be the rep drop. This is the one that Kim has been saying for so long. This is the one that lines up with the 112-day series. Did we get a rep drop? No, we did not. Did we get a drop? Yeah, we did. So Kim's at least a little happy. Taylor, during this early in the show, she actually said, she mentioned the Tortured Poets Department, and she said that we'll talk about that a little bit later, which is crazy because she's never said anything like that. The internet went wild. During the surprise song set, she sang Red and called it one of her favorites. A bunch of people are saying she sang it for Travis and for the Super Bowl, which is awesome. And then she went on to announce another version of TTPD. This one has a different bonus track. The bonus track is called The Bolter instead of the manuscript, which is the last one. She is selling those special edition vinyls. This one is a light beige color. The last one was white. And she's got a deluxe collector's edition too that comes with like a bookmark and a patch and a bunch of nerdy stuff, which is so much fun. But it was not Rep TV. Now, before the concert, Taylor Nation was retweeting a bunch of and posting and commenting a bunch of Reputation stuff and saying, "Are you ready for it?" And they are dirty for that.
Yes, there were also teases in the Super Bowl commercials and things, promo stuff. Travis said, "Are you ready for it?" at one point and winked directly into the camera like Jim from The Office.
Oh my gosh, Disney Plus with the "Are you ready for it?" ad? I mean, insane. It's dumb. When are we going to get Reputation? No one knows. Oh, the other thing she said yesterday was talking about experimenting with music with the TTPD. So she says that, when I decided to make my first pop album was 1989, and then with Reputation, whatever that was. And Kim's trying to go viral with her comments on TikTok saying that she was doing Reputation dirty on that.
Yeah, it was coming up on 500 likes the last time I saw it. So
Yeah. Kim's pretty funny.
She is. She and I were talking today about, how many vinyl variants are there going to be for TTPD? How many bonus tracks are there going to be? And at what point will all of the bonus tracks be available for streaming? I don't know, but it makes my head hurt trying to think about it. So
yeah, I don't know either. There's a big rumor going around on the internet, and Kim and I actually sent it to each other, like crossed each other mid-air, sending it to each other. People are speculating that there's going to be 5 of them, and that it's going to be the full sepia color palette.
Okay.
Because it's been like a white and sepia tone themed thing. And the theory, if it is those colors, then we should get 5, and they should get progressively darker.
Okay, well that could be cool. I just don't like vinyl variants as a thing. I don't like it. With all the bonus tracks on it.
He is saying that on the record, and for the record, for Christmas, Kim got him every 1989 variant.
I know. I own 4 more copies the adult man should have. So,
but they look pretty on the wall.
I assume. I hadn't put them up there yet, but they will look cool. Yeah.
You are on paternity leave. Get your life together.
I know it. Do you have any other news you want to chat about?
No, I already feel like that's a lot. I feel like Taylor's had so much going on in just the past. I mean, we're recording this on Friday, so just the past 5 days have been nuts.
Yeah, it's been a big week. All right.
Chart watch?
Shark Watch. On the Billboard Artist 100, Taylor is still number 1.
Yeah.
Yep. She had a good challenge this week from Mr. Toby Keith, who died, and that pushed him up to number 2.
I won't lie. I streamed a little bit of Toby Keith this week myself.
I did not, but RIP, horrible opinions aside, hate to see someone pass. On the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, Cruel Summer dropped 1 spot to number 4. Is It Over Now rose 3 to number 18. On the Billboard Top 200 albums chart, Midnights is up 4 to number 5.
Nice.
1989 TV is down 3 to number 8. Lovers down 2 to number 9. Folklore's down 1 to 14. Reputation is up 1 to 15. Big Now TV up 1 to 25. Evermore is up 8 to number 26. Red TV is up 5 to number 28. Fearless TV is up 10 to number 63. And 1989 Stolen up 2 spots to number 65. Guys,
why?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Like, stop listening to stolen songs. It's not hard.
Do we think it's like people actively seeking out the stolen versions? Or do we think it's people who are listening to playlists that have the old stolen version songs on them? Or like companies, like the arcade I used to work at used to listen to like the pre-built playlists.
Yeah, I think it's probably something like that, but I don't know. It's unfortunate. If you're out there listening to the old ones on purpose, come on now. You've had plenty of time to get used to the new mix, even if it wasn't your favorite.
Reference back to last week's episode, My Tears Ricochet, as to why you shouldn't listen to them.
Right. So, oh well, that's our soapbox for today.
Yeah. Let's get into Last Kiss.
Let's get into it. It was written by Taylor Swift, all on her own, just like every song on Speak Now. Famously. The original version was produced by Taylor Swift and Nathan Chapman, whereas the Taylor's version produced by Taylor Swift and Christopher Rowe. On the charts, the original peaked at number 71 on the Hot 100, and the Taylor's version peaked at number 57. So slightly higher on the re-record.
Yeah.
What has Taylor said about this song?
She said, the song Last Kiss is sort of like a letter to somebody. You say all these desperate, hopeless feelings that you have after a breakup. Going through a breakup, you feel all these different things. You feel anger, and you feel confusion and frustration. Then there's absolute sadness, the sadness of losing this person, losing all the memories and the hopes you had for the future. There are times when you have this moment of truth where you just admit to yourself that you miss all of these things. And when I was in one of those moments, I wrote this song, end quote. Now, that being said, context clues here, people. Taylor Swift was a child when she wrote Speak Now the first time. And she was dating and got broken up with by Joe Jonas of the Jonas Brothers fame.
Heard of him.
She was sad and confused and frustrated over Joe Jonas with the swoopy, flippy hair.
Also, John Mayer was involved at this point, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah, he was involved, and he's gross, but that's not who Last Kiss is about. Last Kiss is very specifically about Joe Jonas, and we'll get into why in the lyrical note.
But first, we're going to get into some critical reception, and I just want to say off the top, all of the contemporary professional reviews for Speak Now when it came out just didn't talk about Last Kiss at all. Like, it was filler as far as they were concerned. Didn't even mention it as good or bad.
I kind of say something similar in my review.
So I had to dig a little bit deep for these. Had to go on some fan blogs, some retrospectives, track-by-track reviews, that type of thing. So just a little note for how the sausage got made on this one.
Vocal said, pure, raw emotion. One of the most heartbreaking songs I've ever heard.
Billboard said that it perfectly captures the calmly cruel devastation that quietly sets in afterward, an exquisite sigh that seems to last a lifetime.
Billboard, that is a better line than this song. Anyway, Ticketmaster Discover said, the new version lacks some of the raw emotion of the original recording, with no shaky, tearful breath, but Swift's gorgeous vocal delivery makes up for it. I think Kim mentioned this when Speak Now was released, that people were really looking for that youth to her voice that she has really honed in on. She's not going to have that youth.
Right.
She's better.
Yeah, her voice doesn't crack because she knows how to sing now. So that's good.
Yeah.
Junkie called it gutting, melancholic, and lonely.
The Phase says, the production here is unusually sparse, leaving space for one of Swift's most delicate, vulnerable vocal performances ever. Pop on some headphones and luxuriate in it. And what that says to me is the music sucks, but she's great.
Yep. I like Taylor Swift, but this song is ass.
That's what it says. Continue.
BuzzFeed says that it contains some of her best lyrics on Speak Now. And I just want to say
they're wrong.
if that's the case. Yeah. Spoiler alert, we don't like this song much, but we'll get into that.
No, but Kim likes it, and she's not here to defend it, so we get to shit talk.
Yep. Let's get into the fan reception, though, first. Do the fans like it?
Big boy Rob Sheffield, he gives it 32 out of 243. That is so high.
Yep.
Yeah, he gives it way too high. But he's quoted as saying, toward the end of Speak Now, when you're already wrung out from sad songs and begging for mercy, the 6-minute quasi doo-wop ballad creeps up on you to inflict more punishment. Rob, I'm horrible. Just stroke the shaft, Rob. Okay. So sparse, so delicate, flattering every tremor of her voice. Rob, the original Last Kiss seemed too perfect to be improved, but she hits it even harder on Taylor's version, with 13 extra July nights worth of heartache in her voice, suffering through every detail of the story.
Take her dick out of your mouth, Rob, when you're typing.
Bro, this song is not that great. Calm down. Okay.
Also, doo-wop, doo-wop is a thing. It has its own distinct genre things.
It is. You know what this song isn't? Doo-wop.
Even a little bit. It's not even quasi. It's just /Taylor Swift had a more measured take. They ranked it the 13th best song out of 22 songs on Speak Now TV. So right in the middle.
That's much more reasonable.
Yes, I think so. Lyrics.
Yeah. So this song famously doesn't start with a bunch of lyrics. She has the longest intro. You feel like something is wrong. Maybe you picked the instrumental version when you listen to it for the first time. But the intro is 27 seconds of instrumentals to commemorate the 27-second phone call in which Joe Jonas broke up with Taylor Swift.
That's pretty good.
She signed it. And she's referenced it in some social media posts as well. But this is how she signed the song as About Joe.
How long did they date for?
I have a timeline, which once I make it pretty and come up with a decent way to show it, then I will make a version for the fans. All right. There she is as a kid. She was a kid when she dated Joe Jonas. There he is. They dated from July of 2008 to October of 2008.
Okay, so
4 months.
4 months, and she wrote a 6-minute, just absolute, I am devastated song about it. The world.
Yeah.
Okay.
About Joe, Joe purity ring wearing Jonas.
Yep.
He wasn't even the hottest Jonas. Kim will disagree with me on this one. Kim likes this song, and Kim is a Joe girl. I am a Nick kid. I have always been a Nick kid. Nick is the best Jonas brother.
Oh man, as a heterosexual man, so I don't know how. Those are my qualifications. They're not great.
Yes, very good. As a heterosexual white man, lay it on me.
Yep, my male attractiveness judging qualities are suspect, but to me, Nick is far more attractive than Joe is.
Yeah. Kim's dumb for liking this song and Joe Jonas. I hope she listens to this episode.
Nick could do modeling, and I think he has done.
Yeah, they all have.
And Joe shouldn't, because he's ugly. So there that is.
No, but all of this to say, and Kim would be mad if we didn't mention it on this podcast, for the record, Kim and I have been having this debate since 2006. But in the year of our Lord, 2024, Kevin is the best Jonas brother.
I would take your word on it.
Yep. Let's get into the lyrics.
Verse number 1. I still remember the look on your face, lit through the darkness at 1:58. The words that you whispered for just us to know. You told me you loved me. So why did you go away? Away. Taylor is doing what she often does in songs, talking directly to a specific person, Joe Jonas, as we know. The most notable thing to me about this first verse is just how direct it is. Comes out right out with it. You told me you loved me, so why did you go away?
That's so teenage.
Yeah, that's what every dumpy wants to ask, but never actually does in so few words. Because, I don't know, we just don't. Right? We sort of beat around the bush a little bit more than that. But that's what it boils down to. You said you loved me, and then you dipped. What the hell, bro? She needs closure. She's not gotten to the Evermore Taylor, who is fine with her spite and her tears and her beers and her candles or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, her and Joe were 18 and 19 years old, so emotions are raw. Your brain isn't done developing.
It's true. Nobody can feel angst like teens can. Verse number 2, I do recall now the smell of the rain Fresh on the pavement, I ran off the plane. That July 9th, the beat of your heart, it jumps through your shirt. I can still feel your arms. So Taylor's got a very vivid memory. It's a very
it's a great picture.
Yeah, she does a very good job of describing the scene. You know, back in middle school when you had to, this is what a descriptive writing is. You have to do a descriptive. Good at that.
Okay, that's excellent for a descriptive essay. But how dating rich celebrity is it? Fresh on the pavement, I ran off the plane. You know, like I can see them in their private jets.
Yeah, you know, Taylor's trying to get to the real emotions, and she's just like you, but you didn't run off the plane. You know, you didn't run off the plane. And yeah, you don't often get the smell description in songs, what the world smelled like.
Yeah,
I thought that was a fun touch.
Smell of the rain. Right. There's a touch of it, which is what you would expect.
Pre-chorus, but now I'll go sit on the floor wearing your clothes. All that I know is I don't know how to be something you miss. So presumably she's wearing his clothes because they smell like him. Some more smell talk for you. I don't know. It's not something that I've ever done, certainly.
That is 100% a thing that I've done. I love when I get a hoodie that smells like somebody or a shirt that smells like, oh, that's amazing. That's peak. That's exactly what she's doing right here.
Maybe it's a dude thing.
And she probably still has the hoodie and she needs to get rid of it, you know, in this verse as she's singing this, post breakup. Like, girly, get rid of it. You don't need it anymore.
Right. She wants to be missed by Mr. Jonas because that would mean that he cared and that he still sees her value, you know, as something valuable that he lost. But he doesn't. And it makes her wonder if he ever cared at all and if she ever had value to begin with. It's a bit bleak for her at the moment. Chorus, I never thought we'd have a last kiss. I never imagined we'd end like this. Your name forever, the name on my lips. So Taylor didn't see the end coming, you know, in this long 4-month relationship. She was blindsided.
Where he broke up with her on the phone in 27 seconds.
27 seconds. That ain't a lot of time. As somebody who
no,
it's audio for this podcast. Like that's not a lot. Yeah, we've learned in some of our previous episodes that healthy communication in relationships was an issue for Taylor back in the day.
Yeah,
and one has to imagine that was true in this case as well. I don't think Joe would have agreed that he blindsided her. I think he had a foot out the door for some time. But I don't know. I wasn't there. Smelling the rain. I was not there.
Smelling the rain wearing Joe Jonas' hoodie.
Yeah. Verse number 3. I do remember the swing of your step, the life of the party. You're showing off again. And I'd roll my eyes and then you'd pull me in. I'm not much for dancing, but for you, I did. Because I love your handshake, meeting my father. I love how you walk with your hands in your pockets. How you'd kiss me when I was in the middle of saying something. There's not a day I don't miss those rude interruptions.
Vomit.
Yep. She felt like she put the work in for the relationship, you know? Did things that she normally wouldn't do because her partner liked to do them, right? Changed things about herself to try and make herself fit the mold of his ideal partner. And then he dipped anyway. I have experience with this in a previous relationship that I was not what my ex wanted me to be, so I tried to change things about myself to become that.
Fit her muffin pan.
Exactly. Instead of just being like, hey, maybe I can't be what you need and you should go find that and I can find what I need and everything will be cool. Because I'm, scared to be alone, I think.
Yeah.
And also just sunk cost fallacy. I've come this far longer than 4 months.
So much longer than 4 months.
And I don't want to have wasted all that time. So we'll do what we got to do, right? But it's not how it works, man. It's not how it works.
We're making healthy decisions, which is what Taylor is learning as she grows and ages.
Indeed. And I know life of the party people, and I too roll my eyes at them. It's not a good look. I don't like it.
It kind of reminds me of Travis this weekend.
Yep, it kind of does. Rude interruptions. But Taylor misses them. What does that say about her?
She likes assholes.
Yeah, Taylor likes a bad boy with a purity ring and his little whoopy emo hair.
And his fedoras and his scarves.
Yeah, the mid-2000s were a bad time.
It was a time. The year was 2008. We were all there.
We were. I was a junior in high school.
We will have listeners that weren't there, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
Like Charlie wasn't there.
That's true. Where does the time go? Onto the bridge.
And let's cross it.
So I'll watch your life in pictures like I used to watch you sleep, and I feel you forget me like I used to feel you breathe. And I'll keep up with all our old friends just to ask them how you are. Hope it's nice where you are. Why does Taylor lay awake at night watching dudes sleep? Is that a normal woman thing? I find it concerning.
No, it is not a normal thing. And I think she does it because she's an insomniac. But also, noting again, she is a child. She is 18 to 19 years old, dating Joe Purity Ring Jonas. They are not watching each other sleep, which means, that implies, follows logically, that she is a kid fantasizing about being creepy, which she goes on to do later in life.
Yeah, as we learn in Paper Rings.
Yeah.
She wakes up in the night and watches people breathe.
Yeah, she does. And then she writes an entire album called Midnight about being awake in the middle of the night throughout her life.
Right. I don't know. Be normal, Taylor. You know?
No, we get great music out of it.
If you're getting up, get up and go sit in your reading nook and read a book or something.
Don't stare at somebody.
Yeah, don't stare at somebody breathing. I would punch her in the face, realistically. Like,
no, that's really accurate. If you woke up and anyone was looking at you, you wouldn't look to see who it was first. You would punch them in the face, even if it was Taylor Swift in your bedroom looking at you, which would be wild because we don't know her.
Yeah. How did you get into my house?
Georgie let her in.
The other thing, why do you reduce your friends to informants, Taylor? You know, they're fully realized individuals with their own rich inner lives. They're not just there to tell you how he's doing. You know what I mean?
How many great friends did you make in the 4 months that y'all were dating?
Yeah, all our old friends that we had made in the 4 months we were dating. Oh, this is such a melodramatic song. Verse number 4. This song has 4 verses, guys.
Guys, this is 6 minutes long.
The song has 4 verses. It's 6 minutes long. Verse number 4. And I hope the sun shines and it's a beautiful day. And something reminds you, wish you had stayed. You can plan for a change in the weather and time, but I never planned on you changing your mind. So, nostalgia, they do happen that way, right? Sometimes, right out of the clear blue sky, something happens. Maybe you smell rain, Taylor. Then you're back to that July 9th, you know, jumping off the plane. It's odd to me that Taylor plans for every eventuality, excluding the one that actually happened. Maybe she just didn't want to admit it was a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I like the picture of you can plan for a change in the weather and time, knowing the context that Joe was doing a lot of work in LA, in California, and he is from New Jersey and she is from Pennsylvania. And that's a lot of going between like that warm beach and that cold, frosty northern air.
Right. On to the outro. Just like our last kiss, forever the name on my lips. Forever the name on my lips, just like our last. Melodramatic much? Oh my God. I somehow doubt it that she's still feeling that way these days, that Joe is still the name on her lips.
I don't know. Joe was the name on her lips just a couple of months ago when he was getting divorced with Sophie Turner, who is Taylor has chosen sides and she is on Sophie's side. She gave her apartment to Sophie in New York to work out the divorce. So she's still fucking Joe Jonas over in the year of our Lord, 2023, last year.
It's true. It's true. He played the long game. You'll have to see it. Let's get into our thoughts, our overall thoughts about this song. Madeline, what do you got?
Yeah, I like the song a lot. The song has several things going against it. It's slow. It's monotonous. It sits in between Haunted and Long Live at nearly the end of the album. That is a throwaway spot. That is forgettable. And since hindsight is 2020, I would have preferred if she left this song off of the album and gave us any of the Speak Now vault tracks. This song is dull, both musically and lyrically to me. And I think it best fits, like as I was listening, I had this idea for the first time today. As I was listening to this song again for this podcast, it feels like it should be a track that a grade school ballet dancer dances to at a like junior recital.
Yeah, I could see that. For me, I'm just really not a fan of slow songs in general. That's not my preferred type of song. So that puts this one at a disadvantage right off the bat. It's got a hill to climb, a hole to dig out of, and it really doesn't do that. I think it's important to note also that back in 2008, I was not listening to Speak Now. I was familiar with Sparks Fly and Mine and Mean, they were singles and they were on the radio back to December as well. And I think that's it. I had never heard the deep cuts until Speak Now TV came out.
Important note.
I think
they dated in 2008. She released Speak Now at the end of 2010. So she stewed for a minute.
Yeah, she sat on it.
Yes, she did.
So yeah, the first time I heard this song, Taylor wrote it as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, whatever it was. And I heard it the first time as a 32-year-old adult man. I think that context is important.
That is good context.
I was not in a headspace where I could relate to being a teenage girl crying in her room about, the breakup she had with the dude she dated for 4 months. I just wasn't. I think that's important to know. The lyrics to the song, they're okay. They're fine. I think she really gets into some real emotions and feelings, which is cool. She comes at it pretty directly, whereas later she's expressed similar themes in more poetic and effective ways to me. But, still solid. It does what I think she intended it to do. But overall, just the music and the whole song doesn't come together for me. It's way too long and it's way too slow and it doesn't have any hooks to speak of and it just doesn't grab my interest at all. I don't vibe with it. So
you know who does vibe with it?
Kimberly.
She says that this song will always be one of her favorites from Speak Now. In her opinion, there's not a huge difference between the stolen version and the Taylor's version, other than just the maturity of her voice. Like we talked about, that little bit of voice crackage that you get. Kim says it's gut-wrenching and relatable. Also, she loves the song where Taylor missed "It Could Be About Anyone," specifically makes that intro 27 seconds long, aka the same length of the phone call where Joe broke up with her. That is savage. And Kim's right on that bit. That's pretty savage.
That is the best part of it, I think, for sure.
Yep.
Let's move on to our ratings. For those of you who may not be aware, we rate every song on a 1 to 10 scale. 1 is very bad, 10 is very good, and 5 is very mid. Madeline, how do you rate Last Kiss?
She's mid, boys. It's a 5. It's a very average song. I mean, it's not a bad song. It's not getting under a 5, but it's not great. It feels like it should be in a dance recital for a 7th grader.
Okay. For me, I initially, in my first pass working on the doc for this episode, had given it a 6, but I listened to it again today just to do a little more sitting with it, and I just do not like it, man. It's an active chore.
It got even lower. It gets lower every time you listen to it.
It's an active chore to listen to for me, but that means I don't like it, so therefore it has to be below mid to me because it makes my life worse when it's on. So I have bumped it down to a 4.
Solid.
I feel good about it there. So
I'm not mad, but you know who's gonna be?
Kimberly.
Kim. She gives this song a 9 because she's batshit.
Because she has nostalgia goggles on,
She does. She does. That's fine.
Listening to this song back when it came out and feeling like
also, and neither of us can ever experience what Kim experienced of being a huge Taylor and a huge Joe fan at the same time while the two were dating and breaking up.
Yeah, so many emotions, I'm sure, for her back then.
I don't like it though. We're giving it a 5 and a 4. Kim, hey, you know what? 5 plus 4 equals 9. There you go.
There
it
is.
TV confirmed.
If you would like to tell us how you rate this song, you can do it on Spotify. There's going to be a poll down in the episode description of this episode. And you can also vote on our various social media platforms. Madeline, what are we on?
We're on Instagram and Threads and TikTok and YouTube.
Yep. We are on all those platforms at
CBLU_podcast.
If you don't follow us on all of those things, you ought to, because you might miss something fun if you don't. So
yeah, I think I'm funny. Get over there.
That's right. Madeline's in charge of social medias. So if you like what they're about, gotta get on it. What song are we talking about next week?
Evermore from Evermore.
That's right. The closer to the Folklore era. Yeah. So it should be a good episode. Excited for that one. I'm gonna score it higher, spoiler alert, than I did this week's song.
Oh my god, yeah, I love that song. It's so good. Yeah. I'll be back next week. I was trying to see if we had any other guests lined up yet, but nope, it's gonna be me. And spoiler alert, I love this song.
Okay. Well, we'll get to hear all about it next week. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye. See you later.
Pod Gremlin Maybe here. Thanks for listening to Cowboys Like Us. Follow us on all platforms at CBLU_podcast. You can find us on Instagram, X, the zombie Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. We're now posting our episodes on YouTube. Head over there and like and subscribe. All of these links can be found in our link tree in the episode description. Thanks for supporting the pod. Y'all come back now, you hear?